Good day, David Kelly here for grassrootsvegan.com. Today I would like to talk about veganism and bringing up children. And what do? I mean, it's one thing to start when your children are really young, like childbirth, to bring them up as vegans, but it's another thing to try to introduce the diet into their lives when they've already been conditioned to be omnivores. And that was the case of my two kids that are at home. I have a 10-year-old daughter and I have an 8-year-old boy. And when my wife and I became vegans 3.5 years ago, initially I tried to just do a radical change in their eating habits and get them to eat totally vegan. And that, for us, turned out to be a failure. They were just so used to eating meat and dairy and other foods that were not considered vegan. And so yeah, I got frustrated. I would get angry, and then I don't know. I just realized, like, this is not the way to do it. Like, being angry at the dinner table all the time, that was not, for me, that was not what food should be all about. I mean, food should be a celebration, and especially when you're eating with your family. So I changed my strategy, and I basically gave up. I just decided to let them choose how they wanted to eat. Now, that doesn't mean I let them eat whatever they wanted, because it would just be junk. But if they wanted meat in their diet, if they wanted cheese in their diet, if they wanted milk, I allowed for it, and I reluctantly would go out and buy these products for them and let them enjoy it. And of course, when they were out with at their friend's place, they could eat whatever they want. They still can. At school, there was pizza day once a month, and I allowed them to enjoy that. And so, I just decided I'm going to focus on my diet and just be a living example. Now, that being said, of course, I'm the one who buys the food for the house, and of course, most of the food in the house was completely vegan. Like, most of it was fresh fruits and vegetables, and so yeah, even though they were not vegans, they were eating a predominantly vegan diet. And I found as time went on, they began to like these foods. For example, like in the beginning when I tried giving them the typical transitional meats, like the mock meats and cheeses that are vegan, I tell you, you cannot fool kids. They know the difference. They know the difference between Kraft cheddar and, I don't know, some vegan version of it. You just can't sell them on that stuff. So I just let the kids be. Well, over time, I guess just being exposed to it continuously, their habits started changing. And without even thinking about it, they were eating predominantly a vegan diet, and they were enjoying it, and they were enjoying the vegan dishes that I was making for them. And then one day I took my daughter out to Chinatown, where I buy a lot of my fresh tropical fruits, and I decided to take her to the meat section, because if you know anything about Chinatown in the meat section, they don't try to make the meat look pretty. They let you know that this meat belongs to an animal that has eyes and a mouth, and it's a living creature. In fact, a lot of them are still alive when you go there. And so I took her to the meat section in Chinatown, and she was pretty shocked at what she saw. So shocked that she made a conscious decision to give up eating meat altogether at that point. And she has not, since then, touched meat. She still eats cheese. She considers herself a vegetarian, but she will not eat meat. And I find that amazing. I did nothing to, she did it on her own. And she's more fanatical about this than I am. She just saw that these animals, that the meat that we're eating, that we're buying in the store, that's nicely packaged, actually came from a living creature. And so when she saw that, it just, something happened in her mind that made her want to become a vegetarian. And now she's at a stage in her life where she's contemplating becoming a vegan. And I tell you the truth, I'm not pushing it, because as a parent, I'm always concerned about my children getting all the nutrition that is necessary for health and for growth, especially at their age when they're growing so fast. My son, who's 8 years old, just turned 8, he's decided to become a vegetarian, but occasionally he likes to eat meat, but more or less he's a vegetarian. And he's done it, a lot of the reasons why he has done it is because his sister has done it, and he looks up to his sister. And so he's a practicing vegetarian who occasionally eats meat. And it's nice. It's so much nicer to take the relaxed approach as a parent, because your kids look up to you and they will follow your example eventually. I mean, it may take a while, but they really do look up to you and what you're doing and how you're behaving. And, then they know if you're the real deal or not. And maybe it just took that long for my kids to see that, yes, Mommy and Daddy really are vegans, and it's the real deal. And so that's it. I mean, it's not rocket science. I don't know if it's the greatest way to parent. There might be, other parents might have different views on this, but I just say, let the kids be. Make sure they eat nutritious food, but let them be. If they don't want to be vegans, they'll come around eventually, because they'll see what you're doing and the benefits it has in your life. That's all I have to say on that subject. Have an outstanding day. David again for grassrootsvegan.com. God bless.